Okay, this is the Lake County Commissioners Work Session. Um, Today is August 28th, and it is 10:30. So I'd like to open up for any discussion that we want to have before the commissioners today. Gentlemen, would you like to start with anything? I thought maybe we could have Jason give us a bit of an update on the construction of the safety center.
Sure. As I sit here and look at the webcam, the story of my life, we are on sequence 2 of 4. Sheriff, if I misspeak, let me know, of the steel erection. As I look at the live feed here, it looks like there's about 6 trailers over mobilized with steel ready to go. As we've noted a couple times, we hit that unmarked natural gas well May 1st. Lost a little bit of time then as we worked through the ODNR process. That's all been completed in relatively short order, all things being considered. So we did lose some days then, but we've made a bunch of those up. The Gilbane folks and Mull Iron were out last Saturday. We had our owners meeting yesterday. I think they said there was 21 iron workers out there last weekend helping us make up time, which is great. All indications from the executives at Gilbane is it's really high quality steel work that's going on there. So really happy with progress thus far. If you're coming down Jackson Street now, the masonry rear wall, you can see the entrance to the Sallyport coming off of Jackson. If you recall, they'll have a one-way thoroughfare off Jackson up to Erie Street. Local police departments will come in the Sallyport, be able to park in there. There's 4 or 5 internal parking stalls as well, and then they'll be able to exit in one direction up Erie Street and out. So you can see both the entry and the exit starting to come up through the walls, and they're working their way along the rear masonry wall as we speak. Stairwells are done. Elevator shafts are complete. It's relatively soon they will begin to drop the prefabricated stairs into the stairwells using the crane that's on site. We are 99% procured, meaning we've bought almost everything for the job. Knock on fake wood, the tariff impact has been minimal. We got notified early on this year, hey, be on the lookout for this, that, or the other thing. So far, so good. I'm not saying we won't have some impact down the road. But that's trending in a positive direction. All of our big ticket items we procured early, way early. We had some generator specifications that we like, manufacturers that Paul's comfortable with. We got those ordered, elevators ordered, transfer switches ordered. Another thing that was a concern that's no longer a concern is due to the amount of natural gas that will be needed. Enbridge has been fantastic to work with. They have to do an improvement from east of the job site on Erie Street to get enough pressure. They had a couple meetings the past couple weeks, and we need that pressure to help with temporary heat this winter, which is critical to continue work on so when we get it enclosed. So that's occurring, and as of yesterday, there's no concern that will not occur. So that's a huge win for the timing and what work we can do in the winter as they work on a combination of permanent and temporary enclosures and keep that heated to 40, 45 degrees so you can still do the appropriate amount of work. FF&E, so the furniture, fixtures, and equipment. I think the sheriff's pretty well got all those selections made. That's the last contract that the commissioners will see. That's all budgeted for. So that's a plus, and that's came in well under budget. Having this presentation the end of October, I could probably November-ish be able to tell you here's where we are budget-wise. More specifically, all I can say is we're in a really good spot as far as our numbers and what's coming in. We have a owner's contingency of $17 to $18 million, and we've touched 0 cents of that right now, which is very comforting. We just need to continue to get these unknowns eliminated. Obviously, the gas well was one that's been completed and accounted for. The natural gas that I just referenced was an unknown. We think we've taken care of that. So I feel pretty comfortable right now where we're at from a budget perspective and a timing perspective. We've made up some of those days that we lost because of the gas well. Things are trending in a positive direction. Sheriff, anything else?
I noticed the sheriff mandated good weather, so
Yes,
helps
that
a lot.
is definitely helping.
There it is, right there. To give you the space ratios for here, and we really saw this yesterday, they have a building, the actual building in 3D that they're constructing. And so they have the building structure itself, but you can take it off in layers. And they have the inside layer now done in 3D, so you can take out sections. And they have vehicles that are 3D printed that are size spaced for the size of the jail. You can take a semi. This just shows you how underbuilt we are for what we're doing. Our population today is 370 inmates, all Lake County Court inmates, not, billables. You can put a semi in the new kitchen. So we actually took the semi and put it in our kitchen area. You probably could put a van in our current kitchen area. Same thing in terms of our Sally Port is large enough to put 2 semis in because of the traffic coming in and out and some of the deliveries that we might have to make through there. Currently, we can fit 2 cars in a lane in our current Sally Port. Currently, our dock area where we have deliveries is the size of probably this, smaller than this corner here. And so we have to unload deliveries outside and semis have to squeeze through. This will have actual loading docks and storage areas. We have small rooms where all our food is stored all over the building. And now we'll have those proper areas. So as we see the size space ratios of what we're going to be working in and it being built for the future, if there's ever expansion, we have these areas. I think the insight that was put in the past 2 years in coming up with the design was well placed. And I did want to mention what the staff is currently doing. So the staff isn't just waiting for the doors to open and we'll walk across the street. They are getting rid of all the document paperwork that we can, putting that into PDF files. So we're not bringing over historical storage that we've always done. I mean, we have rooms and rooms of documents. They're creating the policies for the new facility now, looking at the new security issues, how that's going to work. So in 22 months, when we move into that building, you can't wait to that point. So there's a lot of work going on beyond the scenes, besides the building, that the staff is doing to prepare to go into this new facility. So I give them a lot of credit for that.
So I just returned back from the CCAO Summer Symposium and in introducing and meeting a lot of the other county commissioners. They, a couple of came out and said, "Oh, you're Lake County. You're the one building the new facility." I said, "Yes, we are. How's that going?" And at least one county had the same manufacturer as our old facility, and they have to do something with theirs. I couldn't say enough about the design build concept, which I was unaware of when we started this, and how that all worked, and how Gilbane's involved from beginning to end, and it's in their best interest to, in my opinion, to come in time and under budget, because then they can go and do this elsewhere too. So it looks like I'm very confident at the rate of what I see, at the delicate dance they do when putting things on the ground and moving it over. It's you go in their offices, you see a bunch of young people on computers, and I know that's what they're doing, and they're just getting getting that stuff. But our team internally working on it, especially at the sheriff's office, and taking those tours. The one I went to was enlightening, the size of the kitchen that was down there. And if you think about it and you say, you have to do meals, 1,500, 2,000, 5,000 meals a day, depending on the number of prisoners you have, how do you do that? I come from a family that owns a catering business. And I know how hard that is to do it at a couple hundred scale. So the way they had it done in the laundry facilities and all those things that it takes to run a jail and how much more efficient that's going to be is incredible. And storage space and all those things you don't think about unless you lived in one like you have. So I can't say enough. I think we're looked in high regard at the state and how we're going about this. And I was pretty happy to be able and proud, quite frankly, to be able to have an audience of people listen to what I had to say about that. So, but you know, my hat's off to you, Sheriff, and your team who really looked at this and secured areas and unsecured areas and how they don't cross and how it's a public building and we can maintain that standard and have public access without having to interact with our prisoners and clients, if you would. So, and you know, I'm excited for the opening, and it's moving along real fast. I think it's gonna be here before we know it. So that was.
I just wanted to mention one other thing is related to the jail. You always hear about police officers work on the street doing extraordinary things, and you don't hear too much about what goes on in the jail. And I want to really mention the skill of the staff there in what they're confronted with right now. Our mental illness rate in the jail is probably the highest it's ever been. And they're dealing with a lot of difficult individuals. Just as an example, there is one gentleman who's in the jail. We believe, it hasn't been detailed, but severe mental illness. Where that's coming from could be PTSD, what have you. He's currently charged with a crime, but it hasn't been assigned, so he's in this legal limbo. And they're dealing with this guy regularly, just poops on himself, rubs it all over the cells. They have to go in, clean it up. They have to fight with him, get him under control. And this is a daily basis with this man. And there's probably 3 other individuals similar to that currently in the jail. I mean, that's on the high-end spectrum of what they deal with. But it's a very challenging job just dealing with that. And I give them a lot of credit for what they're dealing with. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff, and thank you to all of your staff who deal with this on a daily basis. This is what it takes to keep Lake County safe, and a lot of the details are not pleasant, but thanks to those who are willing to do that hard work. Mr. President, if I could ask, I'm looking forward to the State of the County presentation coming up, either September, October. I know you and our county administrator will be delivering it. I would just share for my part, I hope that there's obviously a jail update, that there's an update on our comprehensive plan and its progress, and you know, obviously any highlights of the lakefront development, you know, and the ongoing expansion of the trail by the Metro Parks. Those are things that jump out to me as particularly exciting and important updates for our community, but I know you're working on it. I just wanted to throw out there, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a valuable tradition we've started, and it helps to keep the public informed.
Very good. So anything else you want to discuss?
One more thing, Mr. President. We've asked the auditor's office, and I'm curious if we've gotten any updates, to give us a cost out as to what the doubling of the owner occupancy and the homestead exemptions would cost, how it would operate. Have we had any updates from them yet?
I haven't got anything new. Joel, have you?
Yeah.
We've gotten some.
They provide us data, we're still working through it to kind of figure out how it all we've gotten some preliminary numbers. The numbers are, for the homestead exemption particularly, some folks are actively qualifying, some folks are grandfathered into that program. And so what's been presented to us, if we were to choose to go forward with that, there would have to be another application process. Folks would have to qualify again, so
grandfathered folks would not be eligible.
they would not be automatically eligible. They would have to reapply and qualify, if you will. And so that's where there's a discrepancy, or a slight difficulty in assessing what that number would be. Am I correct in those statements, sir? Yes.
Thank you.
But yes, we are actively working on that and other figures. And then obviously we're, the hopes is the governor's committee is working through, I believe, September. I believe there's also some proposed overrides that they're shooting for in September, October. So I've been having conversations with Joel, with the auditors, trying to get concrete, accurate information, which unfortunately has been so difficult, this year, getting accurate information so that we're able to make the decisions that we need to make. But my hope and goal is to be able to have that by the end of October, to be able to have something so that we can digest some numbers should we choose to implement something, nothing, anything. We'll know all the pros and the cons in an accurate and intelligent manner.
I will say my concern with the governor's committee from seeing the news reports that just came out is it seems as though our auditor may be the only one who's really pushing forward in a strong direction. Many committee members expressed confusion as to what their role was, whether they'd accomplish anything or not. Just to see those quotes in the news was a little bit disheartening. Mr. Galloway said, we need to have a comprehensive proposal, we need something substantial, we have to do it. And I applaud him for saying that the committee needs to do those things. I just hope that his colleagues have the same will.
As I've said on this topic, I have no problem with Lake County showing leadership, quality, positive leadership in this area and others as it relates to the state. And yes, I applaud Auditor Galloway's work down there, but I also want to make sure that the three of us are going to be able to be in the same position to show that type of quality leadership as we work with our communities and our stakeholders and our citizens on this topic as well. So,
thank you.
Anything further? Nothing being seen. I'm going to call our workshop to close.